The risks associated with AI, there's two ways to think about it. The first is within the pharmacy as a legitimate user, and the second is how a cyber criminal is using AI. So within the pharmacy, as I do, AI has terrific advantages. I've had to play around with it. It helps me write presentations. You can put data in there. It analyses it. There's lots of plugins in there that allow you to do some sort of levels of analysis. If you're using an AI system or a system that's called a co-pilot or a chatbot, chances are that's got some sort of back-end AI system. And what it's actually doing is it's recording everything that you put in there. And quite often, depending again on the terms and conditions of the particular AI system that you're using, it actually saves that information and it uses it to train itself for future reference. And that in itself is a potential risk. So the recommendation there is do not put any sensitive data, any personal data, any pharmacy data into any of those AI systems unless you are confident that they're built fit for purpose and the terms and conditions are there to protect you, because otherwise that information will be used by those large AI companies for training purposes, and you don't want that personal data being accessed by those systems for those sorts of conditions. From a cyber security perspective, of course, the cyber criminals use AI as well. It's a tremendously powerful tool. They're very clever at doing jailbreaks, which is prompts and writing certain instructions which trick the AI systems into providing information that it shouldn't. And there's a bit of a race between the AI organisations and the criminals in terms of they put in the OpenAI and Bard and Google, they put in the safety protocols, they put in the guardrails, and then the cyber criminals go to the next level. And so it's a race to try and protect that data. But the cyber criminals are able to access that data. There are increasing evidence that they're able to put jailbreaks in place, which tricks those AI systems into sharing the information that other people have put into those systems. So there's a risk that is very ever present. They're also using it for crafting emails, and they're also using it to write malicious code. And of course that race makes it difficult for cyber criminals to use it, but they are still using it. But of course what they've gone and done is written their own. So this is on the dark web. This is called Worm GPT. GPT, by the way, stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. Just had a blank then. And it's an AI-based malicious tool. Okay, so this is one here. You can actually see what's it saying. Welcome to Worm GPT, the biggest enemy of well-known ChatGPT. And in plain text, the person here is asking them to write a piece of malware that grabs information off the computer and then sends it to a certain location. And therefore, the Worm GPT then writes that particular code. So it basically enables anyone with malicious intent to become a cyber criminal. There's another one called Fraud GPT, and there are more and more of these systems now becoming available on the dark web. So what are they actually doing with it? And the probably best way is use an example. And I'm going to talk a little bit about business email compromise. But as I mentioned, it creates a scale that's never been seen before and enables essentially anyone to become a cyber criminal. But a business email compromise is a little bit different to your phishing email, and it's quite targeted, and in which case a normal phishing email has the usual signs that it's not the right email address, that the text is pretty poor, it's not addressed to you. But a business email compromise is where somebody you know, a work colleague, a friend, a family member, has had their email compromised. And they use the AI systems, they use systems like Worm GPT to analyse the data on that email. They identify who the common people are that communicate between you and your colleagues, and they look at the writing style. And what they'll do is then identify who are the people to send those emails to, and they put it in a format that looks identical to the writing style of the person that you normally communicate with. So you get an email from a legitimate email address in a writing style from somebody that you know, and it's virtually impossible to distinguish between that and real email. So in that case, the key there is to be suspicious of anyone asking you for information, particularly financial information, banking information, passwords, anything to do with security. Be very mindful of that. And the key is to go to the source. So if you get an email from somebody and you're not sure, this is a little bit unusual, and they're asking for something that they don't normally provide, just call them. Ring them up and say, did you send me this email? It's a very simple fix, so that's the way around that. But we're increasingly seeing business email compromise and the use of AI to support that. So we've talked a little bit about how AI helps in the written format, but it also is very effective in audio and visual as well. So from an audio perspective, there's two things that are occurring at the moment. The first is AI can record people's voices and play it back. And they only need 5 to 10 seconds of someone's voice to be able to replicate that. And it's virtually impossible to tell the difference now between a real person's voice and an AI-generated voice. And you might wonder, how would they get your voice? We all have a voicemail message. Hi, you've called Andrew McManus from the Fred.au group. I'm unavailable at the moment. Please leave a message and I'll call you back soon. They could ring my phone, record my voice, and they could replicate that. And barely anyone could tell the difference. It's scary what they can do. Also, once benchmarked, AI systems have a 98 to 97% accuracy in replicating the keystrokes on a keyboard. So they know when you hit an A, they know when you hit a B, they know when you hit a C because it sounds different once it's been benchmarked. And every device, of course, is listening as well. But also visual perspective. This is a little bit of a test. If I was to say 3 of those photos are fake, which 3 are fake, can you tell the difference? If I was to tell you that they're all fake, all 4 of those images are fake images. Generated by AI, those people do not exist. Those pictures were never taken, those situations never happened. It's impossible to tell the difference, particularly, I look at the 2 girls in the colour run, I just look at that. There's a little telltale sign, perhaps. It's a bit blurry on the image, but if you look at the hand, it looks like it's holding a phone. It's a little bit off, perhaps. But yeah, it's very difficult to tell. So AI is tremendously powerful and has terrific advantages, but as we're reaching an age where you just can't trust what you read, what you see and what you hear. It's a bit of a worry. So with that, government is seeking advice. They are looking for assistance and help. Australia has quite an aggressive strategy, 2030 strategy, where they want Australia to be the most cyber secure country in the world by that time. So they're looking for things around a risk-based approach, dedicated and agreed roadmaps. They're looking at the pros and cons of a fact-based analysis, outcome-based measures, understanding that the evolution of change is so fast, ethical frameworks. And there's a number of people also calling for specific healthcare-related frameworks because of the nature of the data that healthcare organisations hold.